All right, well, I figure we'd do something a little different today. Got this reel mower here, R-E-E-L, not R-E-A-L. It is a reel mower, but it's also a reel mower. Anyway, enough with the jokes for now. Anyway, the air cleaner fits up here like this. The bolt has stripped out, well, not the bolt, but the threads inside here have stripped out. Only get about 1.5 turns on there because that's all the threads that's down there to hold on to the air cleaner. Just does not, yeah, it's not going to grab. So anyway, I got a thread repair kit, Heli coil kit, if you will. Heli coil technically being a brand name, but I've always called them Heli coil kits. But thread repair, insert, we're going to drill that out. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and take the carburetor and the tank off. Comes off as one unit. I guess technically you can take it off as 2 units. But I'm going to go ahead and take the tank off anyway because I got to clean behind here. That's where the throttle linkage, it all hooks up. But anyway, let me go ahead and take this off. There's 2 nuts or 2 bolts right here for it. The linkage that goes down, and I believe there's 1 nut underneath, or 1 bolt technically, if you will. Where are we at? Down here somewhere. But anyway, I'll have to get down on my hands and knees and flashlight and figure that one out. But anyway, very straightforward. 2 bolts, another one down below. I'll get it off, get up on the bench. I'll probably, this thing runs really good too, so I'm kind of don't want to clean up the carburetor, even though it kind of needs to be cleaned up, just whatever. But I do have some new gaskets for it, so I might go ahead and clean up the carburetor while I'm at it. But heck, here, let me show you right quick. Get you set up here, and we'll fire it up right quick. So give me just a second, let get you set back up. All right, I'm not going to engage the reel or anything, or the drive, but just show you how nice this thing is. It's got the choke right here, choke pulls out. Let's see if this will fire off first pull here. Almost. Not too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised it didn't fire off first, but still only, what, 3 pulls? Almost wanted to fire the first pull, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So pretty straightforward, you don't need to see that. 2, 3 bolts and the linkage for the throttle there. And then get you up on the bench here and we'll go from there. All right, I just pulled the carburetor off here because I can get you up here with all that dirt on the bottom of that filter screen. I don't know if that's focusing or not. Pickup's pretty good. This pickup here is off the bottom, very bottom of the tank. 2 different lengths. One goes all the way down to the bottom of the tank. Diaphragm in here pulls it up, kind of like a 2-stroke. Does which I've got a new one of those. I'll probably replace that. Again, this thing ran good. I've got it off, I'm cleaning up. I might as well make sure everything is good on it when I put it back together. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that right quick. So I'll definitely be cleaning out the tank some, well, not some, all the way. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the carburetor in the ultrasonic. I'm going to go ahead and get that gasket off the bottom there. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll take that cover off. That's the diaphragm for the pump and fuel pump, if you will. But anyway, and I'll bring it back once this is all clean and we're ready to put the Heli coil / thread insert in. I guess I could have showed you the whole teardown, but there's not much to it. That's why I figured I'd just go ahead and do it. But check this out. I just pulled this plate. This is that diaphragm, kind of like a two-stroke, like I mentioned, off this side. Just 4 screws hold it on there. 4 screws. But check this out. I'm honestly surprised that this thing ran at all. Right here on the diaphragm, I can see that how it's concave in there. There's a spring with a little washer just to protect it. Fits in this little hole right here. And that pushes, that's part of that, you know, with vacuum and whatnot, to keep your pump actuating, you know, fluctuating back and forth. And here's your little valves that open and close with vacuum of the motor, engine, whatever. Your inlet and outlet for your fuel that draws it up, pumps it into this chamber and back out, and that's what delivers your fuel to the to the engine to run. Well, like I mentioned, that thing right there should be perfectly flat. Well, it's still pretty pliable, but that's definitely been stretched and should be flat. A little more elasticity to it, if you will. Here's a brand new one. Let's see what that guy looks like. So definitely putting a new one in. Again, this engine is I believe it was 1973 was when this one was built. So yeah, 51 years old. Trust me, I know. I was born about that time myself. So anyway, it's time for a new diaphragm. As good as that ran, we'll put a new one in there when we put this all back together. So now, with that being said, everything's tore apart. Actually, I'll go ahead and take the mixture screw right here out, your idle screw, mixture screw, whatever. My terminology probably isn't the greatest. I just know what it does. This is when you're, you know, lean mixture, rich mixture for your fuel delivery. These are so simple, a lot less, you know, working components on here than even some of the newer ones are pretty easy. But your needle and seat, I'll pull that out so that it gets good and clean. Make sure it's clean. So now I'll throw this in the ultrasonic and I'll bring you back when everything's nice and clean. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean up the gas tank and the backside that was in between the gas tank and the mower. There's a bunch of crud and that sort on that too, of course. So now let's get this thing cleaned up and I'll bring you back when we are ready to do the Heli coil portion, thread insert portion. Okay, got it all cleaned up. Went ahead and put the new diaphragm in. Got this set back, the needle set back to 1 1/4 turns out. That's where it was when it started. So hopefully that still fires up and runs good there. And of course I can still do adjustments, who knows. This was really pretty clean already. But you never know if something, you know, you saw the screen on the bottom here. You never know if something was plugged or clogging inside. But anyway, point being, we're all clean, good to go. I got the choke pulled out. If you can see down in there. Choke blocks air, just like a choke throttle or throttle blade, choke blade on a more modern carburetor. This has the entire barrel here that pulls out to restrict airflow. Anyway, I'm doing that so that minimal, because we're going to be drilling and tapping, minimal filings go down in. Got some grease. We'll put some grease on the flutes and on the drill bit and on the tap when we do that, so that'll catch a lot of the filings. And then of course when we're done we'll blow it out with some air and maybe even some carb cleaner or whatever. But anyway, that's going to minimize a lot of debris falling down in. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed here. I haven't used this Easy Coil brand before. I usually use Heli coil. Like I said, Heli coil is a brand name, but I call them all Heli coils. Is what it is. It's like Kleenex. Kleenex is a name brand, but everybody calls them Kleenexes or tissues, whatever. So, anyway, not a very good arrangement there, but that's okay. Got our tap, little punch to break the tang off at the end. This is what's going to be used to thread it down in. Proper size drill bit, and of course a bunch of the Heli coils, aka thread inserts. I'll set most of those off to the side for now so I don't lose all of them, just most of them. But yeah, directions on the back side. Done these before. You always want to use the drill bit that comes with it to drill out your stripped out threads, make the hole the proper size for the tap that you're going to use, and in turn for the Heli coil to fit the bolt that you got for it. I went down to Ace and ran this through there. I was assuming that Ace was going to have a tap and die set. They didn't. They had all the individual pieces. They're not tap and die, but thread insert set. They had individual threads, they had individual taps, but didn't have the complete kit. I guess technically you don't need the complete kit, but got a kit going, or another set going, I'm going to put all these in to have all my thread inserts in one central location in one kit. But anyway, went down, found out what thread I needed. That's how I knew what kit to order. This is a 1032. So I'm going to go ahead and put, I'm going to get you set up, turned around here, facing the vise right behind you. And we will commence to, hoping this goes smoothly. All right, hopefully that's pretty good for you. I wanted to try to secure this in the vise, but with all the odd sizes, odd stuff sticking off here, that wasn't going to happen. I didn't want to, of course, crank it down too tight on any one spot, so I've just got it in there between the fuel pickups, sitting there, and I'll just have to hold on to it as I'm as we're doing this. So, because I'm going to put some grease on the end of my drill bit here. That will grab any, or most, hopefully all of the filings that we have. And here we go. You see all them filings coming up. This is soft stuff. You can tell it's aluminum or something. And I'm not going fast on purpose, because right there I wanted to see just how far I was going. That grabbed really good. Well, of course, it's a brand new sharp drill bit. And this is soft right here. I'm going to do that one more time just to get just a little bit deeper. This doesn't go all the way through. Obviously, it stops in there, and I don't want to drill too far. So we're just going to go down just a little bit further. Little bit further. Again, I'm going slow on purpose here. Everybody always thinks you have to ramrod and go full bore on your drills, but honestly, depending on what you're drilling, all you're doing is burning up a drill bit the faster you go. And I think we're pretty good right there. That's going to get us down to the bottom. Honestly, I do not have any filings falling down in there, so it actually worked out really good. Not that I had much doubt. I knew what I was doing with that part. I know what I'm doing with this, with all this. I've done Heli coils many a times in the Navy. Get certain rates that come in and try to drill out fasteners and strip them, and then you gotta come behind them and put a Heli coil in or whatever. Also, just to make the job easier, that's not going to be it. I went down and got these. I don't have a tap and die set, surprisingly. But I went down and got the holders here today. It just makes a lot. You can use a. Let me show you that again. You can use a wrench, open end wrench, adjustable wrench, whatever you want. You can use a wrench on this, but then you're off center. If you know, holding it, you know, if you try put a little leverage one way or the other. This is of course you got your hole drilled nice and straight. If this gets started crooked, all you're doing is messing up threads on your initial go. You want this stuff to be as straight as possible. So I'm going to go and put some grease on the end of this. Also, one, it helps cut better. You can use penetrating oil, WD-40, PB Blaster, whatever your preference. I'm using the grease because the grease is going to collect all of our little filings. Again, hope you can, yeah, you can see halfway decent, I guess, but just set it on there and just easily, just with your fingertips, get that started. You can kind of watch, and actually I can feel it grabbing already. That's going real easy. Again, brand new. I would hope that everything would be nice and sharp and soft metal here. You want to go, of course, depending on how easy it's going too. Sometimes it's a lot tougher going, but you want to get going, you know, a couple threads, back it out some. That cleans out as you're threading down, creating little filings. You go 1 or 2 rounds, couple rounds, back it out. Go, you'll feel how easy it is, and then you'll hit where you start grabbing again for cutting threads. Go a couple more, back it out. That helps clean out the threads that you've already made. Make sure everything stays aligned. Makes a nice clean cut. Gather all those little filings too that you're making into the flutes of the tap, into all that grease. And that's not a lot of grease. Doesn't have to be gobbed up on there. It's just enough to lubricate and grab those filings. You'll feel when you bottom out. Don't force it too far. I'm still cutting pretty good. Of course, if you have a blind hole that you can drill all the way through, then you just tap all the way through. But or not a blind hole, an open hole. Blind hole where you can't see the other side. There. I'm just using my fingertips, and I bottomed out. So that's all the farther I'm going to go. If you try to force it, thinking you're going to cut a couple more threads, all you're going to do is end up stripping what you've done, and then you really have to oversize or throw the piece away. So anyway, back that out. And be careful with it. You know, you start putting any lean to it. See, I almost did it myself. Almost messed up them threads. There. You notice that the grease gathered. Where are we at here? Focus. Gonna focus. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Anyway. There you go too. All the filings on the tap there. Grease gathered it all. None of that fell down into whatever you're working on, hopefully. Let's see down inside. Let me grab a flashlight right quick. I think that's focusing. Anyway, there's filings down in the very bottom there, but there are no filings inside the carburetor. I'm going to go ahead and spray that out with some carb cleaner and hit it with a blast of air, and make sure we're good to go. And then we'll come back and put the thread insert in itself. Okay. Hopefully that's focusing for us there. Got her all cleaned out. Nice threads cut in there. I don't know if that's coming up on camera or not, but we will get the insert ready and put the insert in. Now some of them are self-locking inserts. They're kind of like a self-locking bolt that has oddly cut threads to it. I don't think these were, no. Some of them will ask, tell you to put a little Loctite on them. The Loctite, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the manufacturer. If you notice on the bottom here, there's a little tang. There's a groove in our tool. Again, this is just a cheaper set. But that groove is going to hold on to that tang so that we can spin this down into the threads we just cut. These threads are out too big for the bolt we made because you got to allow space for this insert. I already showed you, I think I showed you, that the insert is for that nut or that bolt. So anyway, once we get it down in, there's a little relief indent. Probably can't see it on here, but maybe you can. There's a little relief indent right here on the bottom of this tang. Once we get it down as far as we want, you want to go about, what I'd say, 1.5 turns or so below the top of your what you're putting it in. That way the tang up here, the top of your insert here, is not going to catch on anything on the, when you start it, start your bolt, and it's down in there protected. Your screw will start, just fine, but it's all down in there in those first couple threads. It's protected, all encapsulated, if you will, into where it needs to go. So let's go ahead and put this guy in. Again, get it started straight. I like to back stuff up just a hair till you feel it pop. And then we get started slowly. Till they start catching. Are they going to catch? Hold on a second. You know what? Let me put this collar down. This little collar on this. Bring it down closer here so that this isn't jumping around on me. Let me grab a tool, a Allen wrench, and drop that collar down. Hold on a second. All right, I brought it down. Hopefully that maybe get it to hold a little better, but a little straighter. I was trying to leave it up so you guys could see a little better. Yeah, I can't really see too much there, but just like starting a thread and a bolt, get these threads started on this Heli coil into the threads you started. There we go. You can feel it start grabbing. Being springy, it's a little bit, I'll say easier, a little more forgiving if you get a little wonky on it, but you still want to go easy with it. Run it down. So I know you can't really see much here because of that collar and whatnot, but it's threading in just like a bolt. You can feel the tension. Bring it up, check your depth. I'm going to go a little bit more because that's just at the top of the thing there. And it's just starting in that first thread. There. You can see that. It's hard to tell on camera here. I'm trying to see if it's picking up. You can see it's down inside there a good thread or so. I can't tell. Anyway, hopefully it's focusing. That's all I got to say. Maybe I'm too close. I think that'll be good. That's down in there about 1.5 threads, almost 2 threads. We haven't quite bombed out down in there, which is fine. And even if you do, that's fine too. This tang, sometimes these tangs come off easy, sometimes they don't. It's no big deal if they don't. It's just you want them broke off. Case, yep, that bottomed out, so that's not gonna break off, but that's okay. It's not gonna go anywhere when the bolt threads down in. In fact, let's thread our bolt in. Just like that. Starts, I don't know if you remember, if you saw initially, the screw dropped all the way up to about here, into here before the threads caught. It only caught the bottom couple threads in here. And here we are starting right there. Half a turn in, catching threads, so that's perfect. Now I'll be able to put my air cleaner back on. So there you go. I'm going to throw this back on the engine over here. Got it cleaned up. Like I said, while I was in ultrasonic and such, I got all this was just full of crud back here, so got that all cleaned up. I do have a new gasket. I don't have the gasket. Well, the gasket for here was a metal gasket. That's still good on the muffler, and I believe I've got the gasket for here. In fact, I know I do. So I'm going to get the carb mounted to the gas tank, and gas tank and carb mounted back up on the motor here. All right, we got her back on. Everything's good. I did prime it, just to let you know. Had to get fuel back up from the tank up to that little bowl. I do have some adjustment I still need to do. It is leaking around this gasket again, but we'll see if that decides to seal itself. I had to put a brand new gasket on there, but yeah, leaking around the bottom gasket there. I did adjust the screw a little bit, but let's see. All right, and best part, get our air filter back on. If we can find it. There it is. All right, good to go. We still need to sharpen the blades and do a little more cleaning up, but ready for the season pretty much. Thanks for watching. We might do more lawnmowers. Got another reel mower and another older dynamo, but we'll see.